Hi, my name is Victoria Kolesnik. I'm an UMM Publications LT consultant for Linguist Company in Ukraine. Just a few words about myself. I've been teaching English for many years. I've been working with young learners, secondary school children, and high school students. As a teacher, I've experienced lots of ups and downs. There were some hardships and struggles that I faced, but I had to cope with them. I know being a teacher can be hard, but I do really like teaching, and I want to encourage you to communicate with each other. Let's learn from each other. Feel free to share your experience and ideas so we can implement it in our daily teacher life. And today we are talking about bridging that transition from primary to secondary school. So the transition to secondary school refers to the time in which a student makes the educational shift from ending their final year at primary school to settling into a new stage of their life in secondary school. This is not only an educational change, but social, environmental, and sometimes geographical factors change too. This can be a very exciting period for children and their families, but it can also be challenging for many families. It can raise feelings of anxiety, insecurity, for many children due to the challenges that may come with making new friends, children becoming more independent, entering a new curriculum stage, and meeting new teachers. When children are making the move to secondary school, teachers have the biggest influence on how smooth the transition is. So at secondary school, students will learn across a wide range of subjects. They will work with different teachers in different classrooms with different teaching and assessment styles. They will become more responsible for their learning, and they learn a new and more complex timetable. So what schools and teachers can do within their own context to assist transition process? I remember the case that happened with my colleague. So it was classroom a teacher at school where I worked, and she was asked to report about the transition at the end of the term at school conference, something of the kind. And she was confused because she said that she had nothing to tell us, nothing to share with us, because there was no transition period or adaptation period for her students. They were very comfortable, so they felt comfortable from the very first day of school. There were two primary classes, and the principal decided to combine them, and it was an explosion of energy, I should say. They were running and screaming during the breaks. They felt comfortable like during the breaks and during the lessons and during learning process in general. So it can happen as well, yes, but minority of pupils experience difficulties which can filter through to lower grades, poor attendance, and increased anxiety in the longer term. So we'll pay attention to practical guidelines and strategies that schools or English teachers in particular can use to help their transition learners. So I think this webinar will be useful for teachers who may be looking for ideas to make the transition process more effective for their learners. And today we are talking about key factors and challengers. Key factors that influence the transition and challenges that students and teachers can face during this transition phase. The main teaching and learning issues that primary and secondary teachers perceive about transition. What should we take into account when we are dealing with the changes? And when we know what to expect, we can have a plan. Then, role distribution. Here we need to understand that when it comes to the transition period, it is not only about students. The transition affects teachers and families as well. And here we define teachers' role and share information to smooth school level transitions. So we pay attention to school and parents' roles and responsibilities in relation to transition. What can we do to make transition work? And I want you to remember that you don't have to have all the answers and that you don't have to do this on your own. The collaboration of school, parents, and teachers makes transition way more easy for preteens. And at the end of our webinar, I want to present some practical strategies that can be used to support their transition process. The exercises you can do with your fifth graders and the tasks that are not only transition oriented, but the tasks that can help you to teach English as well. And you can also ask me questions if you have. You'll get my contact information, so you can contact me, write an email, or just phone, and we'll solve the issues that you have. And speaking about your certificate, so you'll get them within 5 working days. Check your email. Be sure that you check your junk box, because sometimes you can find your certificate there. And if you don't find your certificate on your email, just contact me. And again, I will help you to solve these issues. So I think that we are ready to start. And I want to propose you a quote of Washington State Superintendent, and it says, "Children are the priority. Change is the reality. Collaboration is the strategy." Isn't it true? This transitional period sometimes can be difficult for students. They are in completely new surroundings. They are forming new relationships. They have to develop new social bonds. And last but not least, they have to assess their level of language competence with their peers, knowledge and skills. And sometimes children who have enjoyed primary school and are expected to make a smooth transition may unexpectedly struggle with the change. A transition is a period of change from one children age and develop, they inevitably experience a number of different transitions and significant events which may impact upon them in different ways. Many of these transitions are common to most children and can usually be anticipated or expected, while others may be unpredicted, yes, or unexpected. So young learners need help to cope with these changes in their lives. And it is vital to remember that transition is a process. It is not an event. It is not something quick. It takes some time and some efforts as well. And here, collaboration of teachers, pupils, parents is vital in preparing young learners for the transition. Parents, school, and teachers need to work together to meet the needs of the students and support them as they enter into this unfamiliar phase for them. They are vulnerable due to lots of major and minor changes in their young life. So our task is to collaborate and help them to adapt. And here we can see different factors that influence the transition. Let's talk about educational change. So children in secondary school need a more serious and specific curriculum where many new skills need to be forced to engage with it. And additionally, children in secondary school are typically given homework for each subject, and they study on a daily basis. What concerns organizational change, here we can say that children face many challenges and progress towards greater independence. And children in secondary school have different teachers for different subjects and are usually taught in different classrooms for each subject. And they switch classrooms several times a day. You know, something unfamiliar for them, something most primary school pupils are not used to. And the complexity of the transition from one level to another is not because of learning something difficult in the English language, but the need to adapt to new surroundings, to new requirements. And almost all subjects in primary school are taught by one teacher, maybe except English or music and PE lessons. But in secondary school, all subjects are taught by different teachers. Mostly all teachers are new. And to adapt to this situation is a little bit difficult for children. Then again, social change. Children who are transitioning to secondary school will be dive into a new social world, you can say, where they may not be with many or even any of their close friends. They will have the opportunity to make new friends. Then there are far fewer problems with the transition when the transition is made within the same building. So in this case, transition is locally and effectively managed, causing the least amount of stress to students and teachers. But if the children move schools, then not only is the building completely different, but their new school may be in a completely different geographical location. So they may have to learn new transport routes or travel alone. And when we talk about biological factor, here as children transition to secondary school, they are often experiencing the changes of puberty in their bodies. Some children are not affected by the challenges of puberty during this period of time, but many experience changes in their personalities while they are working out how to fit in or stand out. And this can be in conjunction with the emotional changes to their physical appearance and an increased sense of self-awareness. And this can make the process of transitioning to a new environment more challenging. So here we can see that starting secondary school means big changes like new peers, more teachers, study and homework. And it's natural for children to have mixed feelings about studying secondary school. But school, teachers and parents can work together to ease the transition by preparing children practically and emotionally. We can say that school can make it possible for teachers to attend useful and practical seminars or conferences or workshops to raise their qualification by exchanging and presenting ideas, techniques, and methods that would help teachers make this transition easier and more effective. School administration, together with the class teachers, can organize visits for children to secondary school, or hold information meetings for parents and make contact with the secondary school English teachers. School can also organize meetings between primary and secondary school teachers within the same school, or again, meetings across schools but within levels. They meet and discuss common problems and find possible solutions to the problems in the teaching of English in secondary schools. They can also organize periods of exchange where teachers from secondary school come teach primary students, or there can be how to say, like committees to develop similar strategies and work together in order to reduce the gap between primary and secondary school. And it is also important where it is possible, primary and secondary school should follow the same book, maybe the same book series, so that is clear what has been covered and how language can be built up. And also the children can go through a bridging course in summer before they go to secondary school. It is maybe only for a week, and it can introduce the culture or the rules or subjects of secondary schools. Then teachers, your links, yes, in this chain, and the best transition experiences happen in schools where the primary school and secondary school work closely together over some period of time to ensure a continuity of curriculum, vocabulary, experiences, knowledge, and skills. So teachers can visit secondary, teachers from secondary school can visit primary school. So the teachers should be given their chance to teach in primary school, and this would be amazing for both students and teachers. I want to say that I had such an experience in my life. I was sent to teach English in primary school, and because it was the lack of the staff, and it was really a nice experience for me. It was difficult because you see, you when you teach English in primary school, you act like an actress. And for example, in 45 minutes or so, you know that you will teach English to high school students and prepare them for exam. And you should change your learning methods, your teaching methods and style, completely in a different way. So it was a little bit difficult for me, but at the same time, I had this understanding of their curriculum, of I could understand why the fifth graders behave the way they behaved, because you can work with the students, and you get familiar with the process of how primary school works. So also in the final year of primary school, teachers can give lessons in a rather similar way to secondary school as in the teaching method. So student will face less difficulty when he will enter the secondary school. And primary students can meet students of secondary school. So during the year, secondary school students come to the classes and explain what has changed for them and how they have to adapt and organize themselves in the different subjects they have. And vice versa. So they primary school students can visit secondary school students. They can visit their lessons in action, and they can see secondary school students communicating in English with their teachers, or some games and songs they may hear or see during their classes. Also, teachers can receive the information about the individual students in order to have a plan how to work with them. They can also organize portfolios of work that primary students can show secondary school teachers. Or teachers can use placement tests in order to understand their language level of the students. And when we are talking about parents, we can say that one of the biggest worries associated with their transition for children and their families is how quickly they will make new friends, which class they will be in, and who they will be with. And it is important to involve families in all transition process, so that everyone feels valued. And here it is important to ask questions like, do families know how to speak with if something is troubling them? Yes, who to speak with? Have they been introduced to new routines and expectations, as well as the children? And it will be a really nice idea if parents receive a note saying, for example, this is what we are planning to do this year, and this is how it will affect your child. This is what our expectations will be. And it will be easier for parents to prepare their children for transition period. And they need to pay attention to emotional part of transition. So they can talk about child's fear and worries, and reassure that it's natural to have mixed feelings or to feel nervous about starting something new. They can talk about these feelings and let their children know that it's okay to feel worried, and see whether they can work out some strategies together. They can show their own secondary school experience. And children need to know that sharing their worries or excitement is valued. Parents need to be prepared for ups and downs. They need to remember that adjusting to change takes time. And if the child is struggling with his new school after a few weeks, they need to get in touch with their school to discuss the concerns. So, and here we can say that it is important to choose appropriate textbooks that really relate to the age of the students. Secondary and elementary school textbooks should be closely linked. And here we can see the part from Smart Junior for Ukraine and Full Plus Plus for Ukraine textbooks. And we can see that the structure is similar. I mean that we try to cover all material that has been learned in the first level or the previous year and revise. So the students are familiar with this. They are familiar with this activity. They do it like every year, and when they come to secondary school, again, something familiar for them, like revision. You can allow a week or two for the revision. And again, here we promote 21st century skills. So both books provide the systematic development of the 21st century skills to promote critical thinking, skills, communication, cooperation, creativity, and social responsibility. And the table of contents shows you the topic and the symbols of competencies that students acquire during this topic. And also, I think it is very good idea to use such a strategy as a bridging project, where children begin an activity in primary school and complete it in secondary school. It is very important in helping pupils to feel less anxious. For example, they can start reading the book, yes? So you can use any reader, for example. So you start, read the book at the end of the term, and you can continue doing this activity in the secondary school. Okay, and as you see, the structure of the textbooks is very similar. Here we've got projects, so like students are familiar with this kind of work. They do it in the primary school, so they can do it in the secondary school as well. And there are wheel pages too. So the structure is similar. Then at the end of each topic, there are roundup pages, which consist of exercises, revising grammar and vocabulary. And students are asked to work out their score and see how well they have done. And there are also self-evaluation charts at the end of each revision or roundup page, where students can check their progress. And you can see now a can box with the same goals that the students set at the cover page. And they can discuss how well they have learned the topic, and they choose their own way how to mark their achievements. So they can put a tick, or they can draw something, maybe, I don't know, maybe even just a smile, because it is something that they did when they were in primary school. So, and we can see that here we encourage learner autonomy as well. Primary school classes emphasize activities involving speaking, vocabulary, games, and stories. And secondary school often sees a major shift to more serious approaches with an emphasis on grammar, reading, and writing. And pupils also used a very playful approach and often do not adjust to structured or goal-oriented language learning. So many primary students experience English as something to be played, while secondary school students experience English as something to be studied. So, and this step from play to study seems to disappoint many students, especially when they discover that they have to make an effort to learn. So primary school is based on games, singing and speaking activities, and secondary school starts with any transition time, with lots of reading, for example, or writing, and plus grammar practice, which is completely new to students. So you can let students draw to represent information they are learning, because again, they are familiar with this kind of activity. They did it when they were in the elementary school. Drawing is a simple way to help students to be active learners. And you've got these useful tips saying that you can that students can draw or stick pictures in the notebook to help them learn new vocabulary. They can use drawing not just for fun and enjoyment, and it doesn't mean that you will or your students will draw till the end of their 5th grade. No, just for some time, for this transition period, in order to make this smooth move. When teaching prepositions or shapes or directions, you can instruct your students to draw, yes, to draw these instructions. And you can include prepositions and vocabulary words in your instructions, so you practice your vocabulary and grammar. Or students can describe the person, yes, and their classmate can draw it, the description of the person can draw it on the blackboard. Then you can plan some opportunities for movement during the lesson. In primary school, the emphasis is on games again, and fun activities, and peer interaction. And for many students, it can be a big change or a challenge to simply sit at their desks and absorb new information. So most students learn faster and better when they are actively engaged in activities. So they can sing a song. This again, they sang songs when they were in primary school. They can revise new words, and also they can move while they are singing. They can use new vocabulary, yes, just to show their action or their activity. And when your students study directions or how to show the way, again, you can use the chance to make your students not only move, but practice the new words. So let's make the benefit of this playful approach that the students are used to. So, for example, the students give directions to their classmate to get to the blackboard or door, just whatever, from the teacher's desk, for example. Or you can also play this famous Simon Says game. This is an easy game, and you need no preparation. And you can modify the game to work with a variety of words, of vocabulary, such as body parts or prepositions or actions. You have all your students stand, and you give the instructions that they must try to follow. For example, if you say Simon says before the instruction, then they should do the action. If you do not say Simon says, then they do not follow the instruction. For example, Simon says, touch your ear, and students should touch their ears. Or Simon says, touch your legs, and students should touch their legs. Or touch your nose. Students should not touch their noses. If they do, they are out. Also, you can use the same game with the prepositions. For example, Simon says, put a pen on the desk, or put a pen under the desk, or stand behind the chair. So you see lots of options you can use. Then you can use cooperative learning activities. Students interact socially and practice collaboration. And students who learn how to collaborate through cooperative learning can become adults who work together more effectively in the workplace. And cooperative learning lesson involves students working in small groups to accomplish a learning task. So the task is assigned by the teacher with clear directions. Just okay, imagine a group of 4 students can allow for 4 okay, no, just a group of 4 can allow 4 different students with 4 different opinions to build on decision making skills while improving their social skills. So students need to develop their social skills, and cooperative learning activities can enhance it greatly. So many students are shy to share their thoughts or questions or answers in front of the class, and this is really nice opportunity for them to work together and present their ideas. So you can use pair share strategy or think pair share strategy, and it can be easily adapted into most classrooms by asking students to to collaborate with an elbow partner or person close by. So students can discuss a question or topic and then share their ideas with the whole class. And teachers who plan cooperative lessons, they often use quads, like small groups. And students then work on the task together with the defined roles, and they understand that each person in their group has a shared responsibility. When used in combination with the individual learning assignments, cooperative learning can enhance classroom instruction and make learning more social and fun for students. Use hands-on learning activities. So hands-on learning means learning by doing, and students learn from partaking in activities. They learn better by doing than by just sitting at their desks. So you can propose them to make a poster, for example, yes, some project work, or they can also act out the story they have read, or write a poem write a poem in an English class to remember new vocabulary. And you can also use this kind of activity when, for example, you teach furniture vocabulary, and you provide your students with notes, with sticky notes, and these sticky notes can be of different colors, and your students then talk to their peers about their items, and they can write a sentence that includes a characteristic, for example, my desk is brown, and the student writes the sentence on this sticky note, and they should write one sentence per one sticky note. And at the end of the lesson, students take these notes home so they can put the notes on their items. And this way they will see the vocabulary attached to the actual item at home. And the great advantage of this hands-on activity is that it also works not only with the nouns, but for with the adjectives and verbs. For example, your students can write, my desk is huge, to remember the adjective huge, or my refrigerator works really well for the verb work. Okay, so, and all these parts of their pages were taken from their Smart Junior for Ukraine and Full Plus for Ukraine textbooks. You can find them on our website, publishing.linguist.um, and you can look through the pages and choose for your students, because they have the similar structure, and it will be easy not only for you as teachers, but for your students as well. It will be easier for them to adapt and have that continuity of curriculum. So just visit the website and find these textbooks there in order to look through. And again, I want to remind you about your certificates, so you'll get them within 5 working days. Just check your email, check your junk box, and you can find your certificate there. And if you don't find the certificate, you can always contact me. And now you can see my contact information. You can see my email, victoria.kolesnik@linguist.ua. You can write me or you can call me. You can see my phone number. Also, you can visit our website, linguist.ua, and you can subscribe to our Facebook page in order to be updated. So I want to thank you. Thank you for joining this webinar. Thank you for finding the opportunity to be here today. And I hope that you gain some useful information that you can use in your teacher practice. So thank you very much. Be safe and sound. Bye.